Thank you, Father. We give you praise in Jesus' precious name. Romans 1:17. You can begin from verse 16. We have come to discover that most times the vicissitudes of life is just unpredictable. Life moves in such a zigzag, unpredictable manner. It therefore behoves you to build a consistent pattern, and for you to do that, there are secrets that you must understand. Life may be designed to go up and down, but you can decide that yours will go forward and upward only. It depends on what you know and what you are willing to engage. And so you must know what to do to keep receiving from God regardless of circumstances. In Romans 1:16, Paul wrote to the church, and here was his emphasis: how salvation is procured. The technology of procuring salvation is a technology of power. It is not a token. The devil will not let go of anyone until power is deployed and until he knows how to maximize it. And so Paul summarized his gospel. He said, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. It is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth. He said, first to the Jews and then to the Greek, or the Gentiles, if you will put it. He said, for therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Three things Paul outlined here. Number one, it took power for the gospel and for salvation to be made available to you. Number two, you can bank on this reality because it is predicated on the righteousness of God, not your righteousness. And number three, the technology of receiving it is tied to your faith in God. This triangle is what brings victory, liberty, and a glorious life. Understanding that everything about a victorious living was a product of the demonstration of God's power. The devil has no courtesy. The devil has no good in him, and he is not a being that would want to let you go. And so God knew that this thing has no place for negotiation. How are you doing? Good to see you. You are in the country. You are welcome. The devil will not let you go. And so because God knows there's no ground for negotiation, he came with enormous power and he destroyed the kingdom of darkness. This is why 1 John chapter 3 verse 8 says, for this cause was the Son of Man made manifest, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Salvation is not a reality that was negotiated. It was a reality that was seized by power. And Paul, reiterating this thing in Colossians 2:14, he said, having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a public show of them, triumphing over them by the cross. So there was a battle and Christ triumphed. So the message I came to deliver to you is a testimony of the battle that took place and how that Christ won. However, the victory is not for Christ. He has no basis fighting the devil. He has no need fighting the devil. He is the Lord of all. He is the God of the devil. He created the devil. The devil is living today because of his benevolence. But the whole idea behind that battle is that God decided to remove his godhood, and he took the place of your manhood. So he fought the devil as a man. If he fought the devil as God, it would have been unjust, because there's no basis for fighting. So God had to strip himself of divinity and put upon the garment of a man. So it was as a man that he fought the devil and conquered the devil. And so he said that there is no reason for you to be enslaved anymore. That's why he called it power unto salvation, power unto deliverance, power unto victory. So there's no basis for you to be a victim anymore. The battle has been fought. Christ has won. So the testimony I brought to you is to awaken you to an understanding that this thing you are fighting has already been fought and victory has been secured. And then this victory that was secured is available to you if only you can believe. That's why I said the access the just man has to this reality is faith. and is from faith to faith. So the journey begins from faith, it continues in faith, it ends in faith. So any aspect of the victory you want to secure is not in fighting, it's in believing. So you believe your way into victory. And he also went further to add an insurance. He said, this is not cunningly devised fables. This whole testimony is based on the righteousness of God. So it is God's integrity, on the strength of God's integrity, that this message is validated. That the devil is conquered, the victory is yours. If you believe, you can take it and you can bank on it, because God's integrity is in the matter. So if I believe God to be delivered from sickness, it's God's integrity that I'm putting on the line. So it has nothing to do with me, it has everything to do with God. That's why the psalmist said, he leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. So every time you are believing God, the matter is beyond your circumstance. The day you say, Father, I believe, God's integrity comes to the line. If I tell you now, go and open that door, the reason you are going to open that door is because you believe that, number one, I know the door is open. Number two, I know the door can be open. Number three, if you go there, you will open the door. So the whole activity is not based on you, it's based on your trust in me. And you trust me because you have an understanding that I have some level of integrity. So if you go to that door, the audacity with which you approach that door is a revelation of your faith in my integrity. So every time we believe God for something, we are telling God, we know you are a king and we know you have integrity. We know you cannot lie. We know you cannot deceive. There's no guile in you. So God is happy when we believe in him. Because when we believe in him, we are making a testimony, a statement that is righteous. He said, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. It's the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes. He said, therein is the faithfulness, the righteousness, the integrity of God revealed. And it is from glory to glory. It's from faith to faith to everyone who is justified. So when somebody shows up and said, the Bible said by his stripes I'm healed, I believed it and I was healed, what is he saying? He's telling you that God is not a liar. He's telling you that God is faithful. So beyond the healing, there is a revelation underneath that this God can be believed, that this God has integrity. So every time we gather in a service like this, worshiping God, trusting God for a touch, we are making a statement that this God has integrity. This God can be trusted. So God is predisposed to do for us much more than we expect. This is why whatever it is you went through before you came here no longer matters. It doesn't matter for how long it has been. It doesn't matter how terrible the condition has been. Now the integrity of God is on the line. The question is, can you believe? If you have this baseline understanding, you will become radical about receiving from God. Listen, I can believe God for anything, because the moment I have it, it becomes a further attestation to God's faithfulness. It becomes a further attestation to God's righteousness. This is why we boast in the Lord. This is why we brag in the Lord. This is why we are audacious in God, because we are bragging that our God is righteous. We are bragging that our God is faithful. See, what you can believe God for is a testimony of the degree to which you know his faithfulness. It's a testimony of the degree to which you know his integrity. So a man who cannot believe God is invariably making a statement that God has no integrity. But there's no one here tonight who does not believe God has no integrity. And so I make bold to tell you, beyond what you came for, you will receive. Acts chapter 14 verse 8 to verse 10.